AFTERBUZZ begin.
It's Labor Day weekend.
Oh, it is.
You're chilling.
Perfect.
That means that it's a good day wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in to the Ballers After Show on AFTERBUZZ TV. I'm your host, Jill Munroe. You can follow me everywhere at Stiletto Jill. To my left.
Oh, hey everyone, it's Ivanna Williams.
grooves.
You can follow me. I know. You can follow me on Twitter at Ivanna L. Williams.
What's up, ballers? Nate Miller here. You can find me on all social media at Dog Like Nate.
What's up, guys? Suzette here. Happy Sunday. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram at Suzette Babb.
Okay, ballers, like Nate said, we're
I had
talking
to go
about.
for it. I'm sorry.
You had to. I mean, because like Ice Cube said, today's a good day.
That's right.
Yeah.
It felt
Why not?
it felt
Every
right.
day.
It's ironic, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
They were playing basketball
Yeah.
in the episode.
Shake 'em up, shake 'em up, shake 'em. All right, so episode 7, Ricky Leaks. All right, there was a lot to unpack here. Things are moving fast now.
Yes.
So we start off with a dream, a nightmare, I don't know.
Yeah.
What I saw was like a row of nice-looking men working out, you know. Conversations.
Different kind of dream.
You know. Wait, what?
Don't even.
What?
Five men in
Okay.
your dream.
Let's continue on, Nate.
Yeah.
So The Rock is having nightmares, possibly related to him once again having to take some medicine. What do we think about this? What do we think about Spencer? I'm sorry, Spencer.
At first, I was like, okay, I want to see where this is going. But the moment they held that shot too long, he's like, guys, what is that? I'm like, okay, he's dreaming. This is a
Right.
horrible nightmare. And then just like the CGI of like the big sinkhole and everything,
Cheap.
it's just going down the right down the just like
I
our
felt like it was like
nightmares.
that
Where's
earthquake
this
movie that he just did that didn't do well. What
No,
was
it's
it?
just like our nightmares. Our nightmares have cheap CGI.
What was the movie?
So I don't know. What was that?
Something's
you know,
fault or something.
something-
End of the world.
This is the end?
No, with an S.
No, it was
Syria,
something,
something with an S.
Anyway,
Oh, San
yeah.
Andreas?
Yes, that's what I
Thank
felt like.
you.
I
I
was
was a
looking
little
at.
disappointed because for a moment I thought like the show was gonna take a really dark left turn and like the NFL was gonna like burn down his house or something as like a power
right.
move, like you know
Right.
some people with money. I was like, oh shit.
The NFL is really like they're going hard in the
and
paint.
you see like the red and I'm like, damn, they burned down his house, and then they're
No.
like, no, he's dreaming.
Yeah, I think we're all hoping that it's gonna like be a dramatic show, and it's not. And I was kind of bummed out because we see the pills in the bedside, and then 3 episodes we saw him taking a pill, but it's like you're not going there.
I mean, but I guess maybe I was thinking that that's kind of consistent maybe with what happens in life. Like you
Oh, I
don't
think so,
realize,
yeah.
you know, it's a pill here, a couple of pills
Yeah.
there, and then
Right.
maybe it develops into a problem later. I thought the opening was foreshadowing, like, you know, impending doom.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like large
Right.
doom that's on the horizon. So
Absolutely.
we cut to a meeting where we are.
I want to say one quick thing about the dream. I think it's also symbolic that not only is it the doom that's impending, but that he's bringing them to the doom.
Right.
It's
And that's
his
why,
doing. It's
and
his
that's why
doing.
we see his other friend from before,
Eddie George.
Exactly, because he was already there the first time.
Yeah, and actually Eddie said, I learned a lot from you, Spencer, which I thought was poignant because we know what happened last time when he followed Spencer. To your point, it
Yeah.
was doom for them.
Yeah.
So, cut to, we're there with Brent. Is it Brent or Brent?
Who is it?
The owner of ASM.
Right.
Oh,
Brett,
yes.
okay,
Yeah.
Brett. And Joe, they're meeting with IMG, you know, just
Yeah.
like what's happening in sports right now with all the agencies.
I love that it's 2
clicking
young
up
women,
and buying.
like two
Right?
young hot women.
I
Yes.
like that too.
Come on, though.
I like that
really.
aspect too. So IMG, they said that they've been looking, they see a lot of things that are going on, and they're waiting for Spencer to do the thing that Spencer has been hired to do
Yeah.
his song and dance thing. But Spencer kind of felt like
He's not ready.
He's not ready. He's set up. So what do we feel about that meeting, and how do we feel like? Oh,
Excuse me.
hey, what's going on? And what do we think about Joe all of a sudden being really, really on board with selling ASM?
Oh, that Joe, was he at first?
Well, he was in that meeting because Brent said, you know, listen, we're both on there. And Joe was like, yeah, I kind of
Well,
think so.
I think they've been so hyped up because remember where were they? They were in New York. They were having drinks. Like you have to remember, it was just those 3 guys getting so excited. We're gonna do this. We're gonna sell it, make all
Right.
this money, and we're gonna build.
This is our time. It's
Right. So you're
happening.
not thinking about the guys until
Yeah.
later in the episode. He has a heart to heart with Reggie, and then it's like, wait a second. You know, our first thought, our passion was to help these players. So at first he's probably like, yeah, this was what the meeting's about.
So what do we think? Do we think that they should sell it and move forward with going all in for the NFL team stadium? Or do we think that Joe is ultimately right and we're here for the players?
I feel like no matter, I feel like they're just going to do it because didn't one of them say like we're gonna pay back Vernon and Ricky, then just transfer them over to IMG? I don't know. I feel like them just going over to the West Side is gonna happen whether we want it to or not.
Yeah, I mean that's how I feel. I think the right decision was to take the other brother's offer of to let him run it and them still make money off of it and still get to do what they're doing. But they didn't do that.
But ego gets in the way.
Yeah.
But I think too, there's no guarantee. You can sell ASM, you can have all this money, and then you could still have issues and not be successful in building a stadium. So then, what are you going to do after that?
Right. What's after that?
So in the meantime, as they're waffling back and forth about the future of ASM and their clients going to hell, we see that the video of Ricky hitting the little 16-year-old neighbor has gone viral.
It's funny every time.
Which we knew would happen.
Right. So kind of comes up again when Spencer is notified that this is happening, that Spencer hasn't been minding the store, that his clients are suffering. Do you think that his clients are putting too much pressure on Spencer to kind of hold their hand?
Hell no.
No, that's what they hired him. That's what he's there for.
But for their money, not for their life, do you think?
This show is all about how like how like life and career kind of mixes up together anyway. And whenever he kind of took them under his wing, he made it seem like I'm here for your life events as well.
Yeah, he took
so
them to
when you start off
parties,
on that
he did all of
foundation, they're
that.
going to expect you to be there in that way.
You can't start doing a job one way and then a couple
Drop
months
the
down the
ball.
line like start doing
bad.
like 1% of that amount of work and then expect them to be okay. I'm frankly surprised that it took this long for anybody to say anything.
That's what I was thinking,
really.
the same
Like,
thing too.
Everybody's been really cool about it, especially for him owing them a lot
But they are.
of
I feel
money.
like they're still being like. I wrote down selfish Spencer. If Ricky owes you $5 million, Vernon owes you, he owes them $5 million. He owns Vernon 2.5. You're a financial advisor. Where's a contract? Where's a monthly payment? Where's some type of interest? That's disgusting. There's no way I would not give. I mean, it's one thing to say, can I have $50,000 for a down payment on a house, or to give money to a family member? But why would they gift him $7.5 million, thinking that maybe someday you're just gonna.
And he's like so unavailable. That's not right.
Well, and also remember too what that money was for. Was to help them, start ASM and make that move that they made to. And now he wants to. He hasn't even recouped the money back
It's shady.
that he borrowed from them in the first place. And now they're going to sell the company to move on to something else.
Well,
He doesn't care.
Spencer doesn't want to sell at this point. He wants to manage both.
Right.
He's just not very good at managing both.
Right.
He barely can. He can't focus on one thing.
So
at a
do
time.
you think that? So you think he needs to leave the NFL alone and return his focus to his clients, basically?
I mean, I think that would be the moral thing to do. I mean, at least now, like this, just the way this transition is, with his relationship with his clients, it just doesn't feel right.
Okay, so let's move on to Charles. So Charles is pissed with Seifert at this point, and he's shopping himself, as he should. He wants to see what the market looks like for
Smart
him.
move.
He's a hot young GM.
Yes.
He has relationships with players, fresh off the thing. I'm not mad. I'm glad that Charles
Yes,
is stepping up
I am too.
and taking some control as far as his career goes. So he decides to surprise Julie at work, bring her lunch so he can talk to her, because clearly Julie wears the pants in the family, as we saw as soon as he walked in the door with lunch. She's like, "Oh, that's sweet. What do you want?" No love, no appreciation for the moment. Just, you're trying to hustle me. What's up? So do you think that Charles has a right to get upset that he sees a friend of his calling his wife, who is obviously an orthopedic specialist or a knee doctor or whatever, in sports medicine or in these types of things? Do you think he has a right to be a little upset? This is her husband.
Right.
I think but she also never explicitly just says like, "Hey, hon, I'm a doctor. There's some things I can't tell you." Like, that's all she had to say, in my opinion. And then any further him getting upset is like, what's wrong with you? You know her profession. But she's tiptoed around anything but saying like, legally, I've sworn an oath. I cannot share, like, she doesn't have to be that specific.
To do that.
Thank you.
No, I'm not saying that she should, but I understand they're setting it up to be this way, that he has, because if she said that and he get upset, there's no reason to empathize with him. You know
Charles
what I'm
gets so insecure. I feel like he would still go around and ask Ricky anyways. You know, why are you calling my wife? What's going on with that? But she doesn't. If she tells him like what's going on, she's violating like HIPAA regulations, and she can't do that.
But here's the thing. I mean, I think there's a couple of things at play here. One, Ricky is not that Charles, I believe, thinks that Ricky would do anything with his wife, but let's not act like NFL players or different athletes don't end up having sex with teammates. Right. Relationships. Ricky had a relationship with a mother of one of his teammates in season 1, so there could be that. Charles has a little bit of self-esteem issues.
I see that.
It's also tricky because if it is health related, Charles is a GM for a team.
Right.
So that could cause problems professionally for Ricky. She's not technically his doctor, so there really isn't a HIPAA thing. She doesn't know specifically, not that he knows that, what's going on. So I just think that I understand some of why he's insecure, but obviously I understand why she's in the right. But they have a relationship set up where she wears the pants.
That's what I think it is. I think that he's always going to Julie for advice, and Julie, unfortunately, doesn't ever need her husband for advice. So I think he just wants to be included in that. And she's like, oh, no, I'm good. So I think that's why it is an insecurity thing, because he always goes to her in his proudest moments and his weakest moments, like, what am I going to do? And he listens to her.
But even as a doctor, I feel like, maybe if she's not going to be Ricky's main doctor, she shouldn't be giving out his business anyway, even if it's to her own husband. Sorry, that is her career.
No,
and it comes to a point where her career
and
has
Ricky
to come before her
her.
marriage.
Yeah. And also, too, like, they've been married for a while now, and you don't just become a doctor overnight. He should understand, like, what comes with that. But I'm hoping, because I like Charles, that he's just not seeing the doctor part of it. Because if he is and is still being pushy, it's just really...
Yeah. Well, he's not right now. It's going to take a
character,
while.
Yeah. He's just curious. Okay, so next up, we got to talk about Ricky. So he got exposed, TMZ-like, I guess... Secretly, it's the NFL again, sabotaging their own product. That sounds familiar. But anyway, so we have this leak, and New England is still interested in re-signing Ricky, probably for a discounted pay rate, but they want him to go see counseling. We don't know if it's a psychiatrist or what type of counseling, but they want him to go see counseling. They're not even considering that it could be anything medically related. They probably don't want to know that, not saying that teams are shady. But how do we feel about the direction of what's happening with Ricky and his openness? He just kind of had verbal diarrhea once he got in with the therapist. No hesitation. It was like 2 seconds of hesitation, and then a lot of information came out.
Good for him, because he's been holding so much in, and then like I said, he hadn't really had much of a relationship. Well, like he said, he hadn't had much of a relationship with his father. Now his father's living with him, and they kind of butt heads a little bit, So I think that's what happens a lot of times when people go to therapy. You finally have somebody. You're in this room. It's just you and this other person. They're not going to tell your business. You just spill. So good for him. There's a lot of healing in that.
Well, you also have to. Important thing about therapy is you have to be mature enough to be able to talk about like what actually is the problem, like, because I did therapy a lot when I was younger and just was not into it and never got anything from it. So the fact that he is between the baby stuff and his health stuff, he's kind of acting like an adult almost, and he's concerned about himself, and that's why I think he's able to be so open, because if there's anything that I can tell you that is going to help this and is going to help me, I'm sure. What do you need to know? Right. That's what I got from it, which I think is also really interesting going into his conversation with Spencer later, because he approaches it from a much more mature perspective than he's approached our relationship in a long time. So I think it's a natural growth, which is nice to see. It doesn't feel too forced.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it, because I love that he went to therapy, but I do think that he's a pretty smart guy. He already knows what the reasons are. He did try to stop by Amber's. His father's been living with him. Where is his father, by the way? And where's his, bestie? What's his name again that we always see?
Double T,
right.
TTD or something. TTD.
So it's a little bit
Why
of
am I jacking his name up?
It's a
TTD.
disconnect for me, because I loved when we saw him talking to his dad last season. His dad was always there. So where has his dad gone in this, dire strait of he's gotten a woman pregnant and now he's, walking into random homes, and it was a little off for me just to go see a therapist.
Yeah, I can see that.
The thing that was interesting to me is how he broke down that there are two sides. There's Ricky and there's Jared.
That was strange,
and Jared
too.
has suicidal thoughts.
That was weird.
For me, I was just like, I think that's a real thing. I'm just
Absolutely.
like, whoa.
But did he say killing someone too?
I think he said
Himself.
both. He
That
said
was-
just a lot of rage.
That was
pain.
weird.
I just felt
think
like it
it's-
was,
it's just supposed to be like the darkness in him. I think I guess I think they're setting him up to have some, manic tendencies, and that's, the definition of mania is having the extreme highs and extreme lows. So him
Depression.
describing it that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a very humanizing moment, and I really appreciated seeing that because now we get to see inside his head, so to speak. And
But I
so
hope they
just-
continue because
Right,
some they
yeah.
do these things and it just
And
it
it
stops.
drops.
Yeah.
So the other side of Ricky, he's dealing with this leaked tape and that the teen has gone from 700 followers on Instagram to 13,000. Pulled the head
Wow.
cheerleader for prom.
Can you punch me right now? Nate?
Here's
The
the thing.
babes.
Let me tell you what's confusing about this, though, okay? That I always have a problem with the timelines. It's the off season. Prom happens in what? May, June. We're in Florida.
Right.
It's the off season.
Did he say that he took her to prom?
That he was planning to,
Yeah.
that he
Planning
just got
ahead,
his
planning
prom
ahead.
date.
You're so good about
Yeah.
all this.
So that just bothers me because I'm like, okay, are you guys forgetting what time that it's the off season?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Like, in theory, they shouldn't even really be in school right now. But
You're
we're just
right.
going to roll with it and we're just
Yeah.
going to keep that up.
It's make believe.
Whatever.
But yeah.
Okay, so
Damn.
he went to 13th.
Illusion shattered.
It just stuck out to me because it's the off
Yeah,
season.
no, it makes sense. There's an established timeline of when it
Yeah.
is.
So he got to 13,000 followers in
Summer
24
camp.
hours.
Summer
Totally
camp
went
prom.
viral. Summer school. I thought it might be summer school, but she was walking around in her cheerleading
Nope.
outfit. So
It's real
no
school.
reason to be walking around in your cheerleading outfit in
right.
Summer
school.
cheerleading school.
So,
Cheerleading?
know,
I'm
minor
trying.
detail.
I'm trying.
But they
Minor
count.
detail.
But they count.
So he just wanted to be popular. He, was planning a Facebook press conference. TMZ offered him $10,000. So Ivana says that his family is rich, so the $10,000 didn't matter. I'm like, what
Me and
teen is
Suzette
turning
felt the
down?
same way.
Suzette too.
I said
I'm
that.
like, what teen is turning down $10,000 to go on TMZ and talked about how a
Yeah.
pro player socked him? Real
And he
quick.
even said that too. He was like, "So I'm 16. Like, what's better than getting laid right now and getting some money?"
But wait, didn't we figure that they gave him money anyways right away?
Well, we thought, but the problem is that he didn't leak the video. We assumed he did,
Right,
but
yeah.
Right,
it's
but
the
before,
NFL.
since they were never he wasn't gonna tell anybody. Didn't we already assume that they paid him off? But then, because it happened again, I guess is what you're saying.
I assume
did
I thought
say
maybe they
something-
paid him off
Yeah, I
or
think-
something
they
with the
talked to
parents, but
yeah, something
yeah.
like that.
Okay.
But I don't know. So do you think it would be enough to bribe a teen with the pro player picking him up for school in the Ferrari, having a bonding moment, and then letting him roll the Ferrari? Is it like, we're
Yes.
cool, man, I don't need anything else?
Yeah, because you're 16. If you're silly enough to take that.
Yeah, it made
Dumb
him look. It made him
teenager.
look
Absolutely.
awesome.
I didn't want to call him dumb, but
Made him more
He's just a kid.
popular.
He's just a kid. You
Yeah.
know, it's like he said.
That's all he
it's
wants.
Social
all he wants
media
to
and-
he
say.
only thinks. And then he let him drive the car, and I was like I said earlier before the show, I'm like, I really thought the kid was gonna die. It was gonna be like a car crash. or
So did I
something.
too, and that was an
I
interesting
just knew
moment
it was gonna go
when he
wrong.
told him
I thought, or
the
that they were
truth.
going to be arrested. Yeah,
That was
here's my thing.
interesting.
I thought, I'm like, okay, another example of Ricky completely losing it. How are you trusting this kid? How many times have
Exactly.
we seen like you?
Making terrible decisions.
You know, guys on Instagram or Twitter sending a DM to some random
Exactly.
person, and the first thing they go do, look what they did to me. Look what he
I
said.
don't know. He seemed like a good kid. I liked him.
He confided that he's having emotional and mental problems.
and
That
possibly
could-
a concussion.
and he doesn't have a contract yet in the NFL, not for long.
exactly.
I just thought that kind of symbolized Ricky's losing it.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I get that he was trying to
he
bond
is.
with him, but he didn't really need. If you say this is an impressionable 16-year-old kid driving in the Ferrari and being picked up, should have been enough. You didn't have to you could have said, I get nervous too. You know what I'm saying? And the kid would have been fine. You didn't have to like put the truth out there.
Well, if he's losing it, his mother that he speaks to a couple times a week, I'm sure will calm him
Listen,
down.
we got answers for Suzette. Suzette has been wondering where the mom has been for a
where's
very
mama?
long time.
Are they trying to get some actress in there? They can't get.
I bet you. Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing.
they've been watching, and his mom will be on next season. Excited about her grandbaby.
Has to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like Jennifer Lewis or somebody flamboyant, so we get to see the mom and dad go at it.
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
that would be really good.
That's gonna be too much.
You know, with her and Dennis, because he already set it up when he was in therapy, saying that they can't even really be in the same room together.
Right.
It's best that they not talk.
Yeah, and that
I can't wait.
You know, he felt how his mom probably felt when his dad left. You know, there was some really deep insight that you have been waiting for.
I've been waiting because
into
how
that
would you feel? How would
relationship.
you feel if you know now that the father of your child is living with the son that was never there? You know, that's what I'm trying
Well,
to say.
she knows if they talk a couple times a week, and
All
she's
right, so
certainly
we're gonna
read the
wait.
blogs. So we're gonna see. Okay, so let's move on. So we know that Fat Reggie and Vernon are obviously unhappy. Vernon's been suspended for 4 games for the Cannabinoids, so they want to go to the league offices to talk to Miss Candace at the league and plead their case and see if they can do something to wipe Spencer's whack juice off of them and get some points. So, were you impressed with the way that Reggie took over in the meeting? I thought that meant that he was learning
great.
from Joe. And that's usually what happens at these agencies with the little runner guys or the homies. They find some that are
thought it
smart
was
or
great.
ambitious enough
Yes.
and snatch them up and make them junior agents or runners by
that's
extension.
it.
Nate's not feeling it.
I was afraid that this was gonna happen with the start of the season
Don't
and the
be
whole
afraid.
like him being like, all right, we got to make this money because no one's gonna make it for us. I was like, damn, they're setting him up to try and put him into the company or something. I don't like him as a character.
Really?
No, I don't. I don't like him. I don't trust him, and I don't want to see him grow. I don't want to see him in the company. If they do, I know he's gonna
Do you want
screw
them to
it
kill
up.
him off? Gee whiz.
I don't want them to-
Exactly.
No, but I want him to
You
get
just want him to
fired
push to
or
the background.
They've done it to plenty other people. They can just
Yeah.
fade him in the back, and we don't have to see him anymore. I don't want to see him be Joe's little buddy. I don't want to see their adventures together.
You don't wanna
view
see
him
Joe
as
mentor
becoming
him?
Joe's little buddy. I figured that he was gonna have Joe take him under his wing, just learn what he can from Joe, and then break off, and they can become their own team.
Listen, he's been representing
No.
his friend that from the get-go he was just hanging out being an entourage, and he's really
Yeah.
taken it very seriously. And I want to say to London, I thought that was a really great
He
scene
had
for
some
him.
skills. I was impressed.
I thought it
He's
was
taking
really
it
great.
seriously. He's taking it really seriously.
In that moment, yes, he was.
I thought
it was.
a great scene.
In this single episode, he's taken it seriously. We can look back on the entirety of the rest of the series and see how.
But his friend lost money, and he was taken upon himself because
because
Spencer still owes him money too. So
And
what else are you
remember,
gonna do?
he caused Vernon to lose money last season.
He
with
caused
the
Vernon to
paintball
lose
thing.
money this season.
He did.
Almost lose his whole career
He
this
did.
season.
He did.
But Spencer still owes
But
him
it's
money.
Spencer's
so
fault because Spencer
Spencer's
isn't there
not
to
showing
hold
up.
their hand
Yes.
and take care of it and to
Thank
make
you.
sure
And
that they
feed them.
understand that cannabinoids aren't a good idea for an NFL player to advertise.
It's just not okay that your financial advisor's not at the meeting and that your friend's doing the talking for you.
Yeah, that doesn't look
on.
good. Yeah.
I mean, what I did appreciate was that he did finesse her with, we know that at some point in the U.S., cannabinoids are going to be legal. Don't
Right.
you want to be on the forefront of that? It had shades of
Yeah,
Adam
that's
Silver
smart.
to me,
Yeah.
as far as pushing the envelope. And obviously, she's an
Clever.
ambitious woman
Yeah.
Right.
who I
Good
imagine,
argument. Good
will
for her
come
to
back
spearhead
so.
that change. Yeah, for sure.
So that's the thing.
Well,
All right.
she's talked about being very pro player, and the CBD stuff would be very good for the players because it's proved to be very good for recovery.
And
so.
it will be a sticking point in their next contract in real life.
Absolutely.
One of the things, along with them trying to get guaranteed contracts and
That's-
be like the NFL.
And it's probably part of the reason why they haven't this is one of the things that they've kept talking about, even though they're out of it now. Mostly, they still keep kind of bringing it up every now and then. So I think
Yeah.
it's gonna. Going into the next season, I think it may have some part, especially if it really does become a big thing in the player negotiations.
Okay, so let's talk about ASM for a minute. So we see Spencer, blowing up with everybody telling Spencer, you're not there, you're not providing anything. Joe recounting the story about how Reggie backed Candace, got Candace on his side to reduce the games. And then we know Ricky kind of went off on him like, you think you're helping me, but you're not. Although Ricky still went and did exactly what Spencer told him to do. So I kind of felt like it felt like, how when you're mad at your significant other,
you say something mean, you don't mean.
yeah, that you don't, just for a reaction,
Right.
you're just looking for the attention.
I thought he was gonna like fire him or something. I was like, yes,
He's not going to fire him yet because he owes him money.
I mean,
You don't do that.
you don't have to
yet.
work for me, and you still can pay me back in money.
The money he owes him doesn't go
But
away.
obviously, there's no like I'm saying.
But was there is it written? Is it notarized?
Probably not, because it can't be,
Yeah.
because you're not supposed to be giving your financial advisor money to keep the company that you're investing your money into afloat. That's not supposed to be where your assets are going to.
Yeah, so,
I guess it's kind of like the Player Tribune. Maybe they're player owners, but not really.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, Spencer's down and out. Once again, Spencer's sad. Spencer's being beat
Poor
down by the
Spencer.
world for just
Bad
trying to
Spencer.
do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
So now Spencer is ready to sell, because that gets everybody back their money, and he can go all in on the stadium thing.
Right.
Do you think Spencer is right for changing his mind once again?
He just does what benefits him.
God,
it's
so selfish.
it's to me it's one thing if you're gonna pay back the guys, maybe help them find a new financial advisor. Maybe you've taken the last 6 months to really be there for them and kind of prep them for this change. But Spencer he's selfish. Who would ever do that? You would never do that to anyone. Like, you're supposed to be a businessman. You begged these guys to give you a chance, and they believed in you, and now you don't care.
There are no friends in business, just profits.
That's true. Well, they've all lost money though.
I mean, I
he
don't
doesn't
know.
care.
I feel like Spencer, I do think that he is wrong in how he's handled it, because to your point, he said he was going to be there in a capacity that I thought overstepped the boundaries of his job description. But hey, that's what we agreed to. So now that he's not doing that and he's trying to go all in on the stadium, I do feel like he has to pick a side. But I think that if he picks the players, he's not going to be happy.
Yeah.
No.
I think that's
Yeah,
fine.
because he wants more.
I think in the position that he's in, I think he made the right decision. It's all,
But
his
is
own
it going to
fault that he's
stick
in
to
that.
it? This is a good point.
For the rest of the season, at least.
Maybe this is a good point. Let's get to predictions.
Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
Okay, we're gonna start with you, Suzette.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go really off the cuff. Is that how you say it? Well, what if the league found out that Spencer, borrowed money from these players? And what if they did find out there was no contract, no real intent to pay back at a certain time? Okay, maybe that would be another, I don't know if he could get a suspension, or I don't know if that would hold up anything of, the stadium, but maybe something with that. And then who I kind of am not trusting, who seems really sleazy, is Wayne Hastings. It's like every time we've seen him lately, he just seems very like schmoozy and like has a cigar and very
slippery,
very very Vegas like.
Yeah.
So at first I was almost certain that he was gonna take the claim to have this big Vegas stadium idea. So maybe with Spencer, maybe he's gonna get played again, or maybe I won't say too much so you guys can go, but something along that lines. I don't trust Hastings. And it's always going to be more money than you think to build anything. So them selling a company is very risky, because this might not be all the money that they're going to need.
Yeah, well, they even say like it's 125 million or something to
Yeah.
the
Something
like
more
2
than
billion that they need, or some big number like that. So
Ridiculous
yeah,
amounts
it's
What
of
if the
money.
team
drop in the
sucks
bucket.
too? I mean, it's no guarantee.
Yeah.
Okay, Nate, what about you?
I mean, same thing. I don't trust Wayne either. I'm really interested to see where this Charles storyline goes with him and his wife, and if he does go to Ricky and say like, hey, why are you calling my wife, and why is she not telling me about it, and how Ricky's gonna respond to that. I don't know if he's gonna get upset at him, or if he's gonna get upset at the wife and be like, why did you tell him? But I'm curious to see where that plays out, and I'm really hoping that they round his storyline out with a nice, strong finish, because he's been one of my favorites this
Charles,
season.
Yeah.
He's had a
really been
great,
doing it.
consistent storyline.
Yeah.
His character has
Yes.
progressed, matured.
Him and his wife are two of my favorites on the
Yeah.
show.
Mm-hmm.
Their dynamic is great.
Yeah, he's been in some really tough predicaments, but he always pulls through with the help of his wife, obviously.
Yeah.
One more really quick before you
Oh.
go. is I think we're going to see Seaford again before the end of the season.
Yeah.
Don't
Change
take
the
it all
show
of
to-
mine.
Oh, damn. Sorry. Never mind. I'm
No,
done.
go ahead. Finish. It's all about you.
No, yeah. Well, I mean,
Every day is your day.
that's right. Every day is my day. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be happy that Seaford that he's that.
Oh, that
Chuck's
he's
gonna
leaving?
Take that job. No.
Could be dramatic. Okay,
Definitely.
what's up?
So I want to see Ricky open up more. I want to see what he's gonna do in regards to his issues. I mean, what was it? CT, his concussions and stuff, and it's like he's really having a hard time dealing with the aftermath. I almost don't see him getting signed again. But like I said, I think that he was really. I think Charles, he was already gonna try to find a way to talk to Ricky. What are you doing? Talking to my wife. But I want to see the conversation that he's gonna have with Seaford. It's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be a whole lot of drama, and I really can't wait to see that. But I've also been thinking Charles was a really like. I don't want to say he was mousy, but he took a long time for him to open up and get really comfortable in his role. And I think that that's also kind of why Seaford was such a jerk, because he sees that Charles is doing such a really great job. And that's why he was so just treat him like, just go do my job. Go do my work. Go do all my dirty work. So I really want to see how that's going to go.
Okay, so I think that we'll see Amber again towards the end. I think that we can look forward to Ricky and Amber
she has
trying
to
to
come
work
back.
out
I hope so.
Yeah.
their situation as Ricky works through the end of his career. I think that if not next season, I think that we are going to see Ricky lose his career and go through those moments of not playing in the first things. I think that they will show that through him, and maybe there'll be another young hot prospect to come along, or maybe we'll see Ricky go away and make a comeback or something like that. But I think those are the things that we have to look forward with that. I do think that ASM gets sold, but somehow, some way, it's something where there's some type of bridge deal or something so that they're still involved, and a reason for them to keep in touch with the players, to keep that aspect going, but not have it in the same
them
regard.
down.
So, but I do see some changes happening. I definitely see Charles heading to the West Coast.
Yeah.
Because it's
absolutely.
easy to show now that Ballers is filmed in LA. So let us know what your predictions are. Leave some comments for us. Let us know what
Please,
you think.
yes.
What you think so far of this season. We only have 3 episodes left.
That's
Oh,
it.
2. Wait, 3.
3.
8, 19. No, 3.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, the math's a little off. It's a holiday weekend. That can happen. Suzette, let them know where they can find you.
Yes, well, first I'm going to do this little
that's
read,
right.
you guys. Thank you so much for your support. We have some really exciting news. Whether you're a new listener, longtime AfterBuzz fan, you know that we're the world's #1 destination for TV coverage. And starting next month, we'll be expanding our content beyond just after shows. Super exciting. You can see everybody doing that here. Your after shows are not going anywhere. They're simply evolving. Most of the shows that you love will only air part of the year, though. And during the rest of the year, these shows will have new breaking interesting things to talk about. So as the ESPN of TV talk, we know it's our job to cover it. And we have no limits approach to TV coverage. We realize that sometimes it can be hard to find the shows you love, and we have listened. Our YouTube channel will be divided up into 9 sections. So we'll have dramas, comedies, reality competitions, wrestling and sports, animation, sci-fi, fantasy, superheroes. That's all one. Of course, the red carpets, which you love. And then we're going to have original content. So the hosts here pitch shows, really exciting. And it will not happen overnight. So as we develop, please tune in. We're going to cater to your TV desires, which means we have to have your participation. So I can't say enough. When you go onto YouTube, please give us a thumbs up, rate us on iTunes, DM us questions. Like, we love to talk about things that you guys want to hear about. So you can go on our Instagrams,
For sure.
ask us something. We'll talk about it. So we are going to keep you up to date, and please sign up for our monthly newsletter launching in September, and check out our after shows every single week.
What? Right.
There's a lot of stuff.
And now, thank you for all of that. That means that
Yes.
you guys have so much to look forward to
Yes.
here.
Yes.
In the meantime, Suzette, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me at Suzette Babb and Nate's.
You can find me at Dog Like Nate. Ivana.
Hey everyone, I'm Ivanna Williams. Before we leave, as a fellow Texan, I just want to say that I'm reaching out to you, Houston. Just want to send out my love, let you know that you're in my thoughts and my prayers to Houston and the other surrounding cities. In the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter at Ivanna L. Williams.
Ditto from all of us. You can find me everywhere at Stiletto Jill. Check out the Power After Show. Tomorrow night we have showrunner Courtney Kemp joining us, so make sure that you are checking that out. And next week for episode 8, right here, 9 p.m. for the Ballers After Show. Thank you so much for checking us out every week. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, 5 stars on iTunes. We will see you next week.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.